TDS has a bunch of secret details that you might have missed, and in this video, I'm talking about all of them. So subscribe and we're gonna see the coolest things that you probably haven't seen, from towers, skins, to even maps. Starting with number 1, engineer sentries have a small chance that they would have a teddy bear on it. It can be spawned by playing the engineer normally, and every time a sentry would spawn, there would be a rare chance that the teddy bear could spawn. This is a reference to the old sentry tower that there was a 20% chance a teddy bear would spawn on it. Talking about low chances, seeing someone with this name tag is considered really rare. This is called the coal name tag and only 10,000 people have it. But did you know that there's a secret behind this name tag that's even more rare? This is the other variant of the coal name tag, and there's a 0.1% chance that this variant will trigger, and you would have to be super lucky. So lucky that you used to be able to achieve a badge if you got it. Speaking of badges, this badge shows a picture of an exclusive skin to admins and developers. It's called Umbrella Kid, and then it's a reference to Hat Kid from A Hat in Time, who is supposedly a time traveler and an alien. This skin never made it to the game, most likely due to copyright reasons. More content that didn't make it to the game is the barracks tower, which seems like it got converted into mercenary base though. Number 5 is something that you probably didn't even know about, and it's called the Sentient Titan. It was teased by Below Natural and was set to be released in hardcore mode, but of course never making it to the game. It has similar style to the Gold Titan except for it being gray and having a red eye. Number 6. Back in the old TDS lobby, there's a secret room that most people didn't know about. It featured a disco room with multiple party-like features. There's also very outdated memes outside the room. Fast forwarding a bit, there's another secret room in this TDS lobby that maybe some of you guys know, and it required glitching outside of the map. Doing this, you would end up in the back rooms, which is a bit creepy considering how out of place this is to be in a tower defense game. This is the sniper, and normally its hat is backwards, but on this skin, its hat is set forwards. Is it a bug, a feature, or a mistake? Who knows? Number 8. On some of TDS's maps, there's some Easter eggs that you might have missed while playing. Like inside Unknown Garden, you'll find some hardcore enemies sitting around the map, taunting you. Or on chessboard, the chess pieces are replaced with fallen mode enemies. Even on Crossroads, there's a dabbing ninja and baller. The funniest one would probably be the zombie that couldn't fit through the fence in Necropolis. But that's not all. There's a kraken that's about to sink a boat, the secret room in Moonbase, and of course other hidden details that you guys could find yourself. Speaking of hidden details, did you know when you open a crate, you get placed in this cutscene sequence, in which this is an actual area in the game's lobby. You can find it by glitching outside the map and going behind the hardcore elevators, which is where this area is located. Now, I bet you guys didn't know that most of TF2's characters are actually inside TDS. Minigunner is the heavy, Scout is the slugger gladiator, Demoman is the old default Demoman, and of course Pyro is, well, Pyro. Other skin references, like the Grand Theft Soldier skin, which is a reference to Creekcraft, the Silent Sniper, which is reference to the deadliest sniper in history, and of course the Soviet Crook Boss, which is a reference to Russia's Soviet Union. There's also many other skin references, but this is just the tip of the iceberg. If that's not enough for you, there's a tower called the Commando, and it's actually a reference to Risk of Rain 2, which there is a character called Commando. Okay, wow, they look very similar. Back when TDS got released, Tower Battles, which is also a tower defense game, actually teased TDS by changing their names from Tower Battles to Tower Battle Simulator, which is kind of funny, I gotta admit. On the topic of Tower Battles, the map Toyboard was originally a submission map by Below Natural for Planet Earth, the creator of Tower Battles. The map never made it to Tower Battles, but Below Natural added to his own game TDS, which still exists today. Number 23. There's a lot of secret badges in TDS that I bet you didn't know of, like Verge of Death, where only 2 people have this badge. It was most likely the developers though. There's double the lanes, double the power, which we could assume it is achieved by playing on the map with 2 paths, or Apocalypse Raves, Strength and Power, Golden Power, the list goes on. But it is most likely these badges were scrapped ideas, since they were easily achievable. Now, most of you guys know about the first ever TDS trailer, and it looks something like this. But I'm sure a lot of you guys didn't know that there's actually another trailer before this one. It was made by Known SH, the same person that made the first trailer. And here it is. As you can tell, everything looks less polished and more choppy. Talking about the trailer, did you know that it was Below Natural that recorded most of the footage in this trailer? That's why it looks so smooth. This is the Archer Tower, obtained by winning the winter event or of course buying the game pass. But there is a secret about it that I'm sure most of you guys didn't know about, and that its arrows are supposed to have special effects. Below Natural originally wanted the arrows to have special abilities, like explosions and stunning. Too bad it was never added. Number 26. Currently, the most amount of waves you can play is up to 50, and that's only in hardcore mode. This is already considered long since it takes nearly an hour. But wait, did you know that at some point during the game's existence, you can play up to 68 waves? Imagine how long that would take. There's still more. During this wave, you're up against the Frost boss. To be honest, it didn't look that hard. You guys may know that some time ago, TDS had the faces of their towers changed. But there was a variation that you may have missed, and that was these faces. Labeled as funny faces, this was an April Fool's Day joke that was added to the game on April Fool's 2020. And it consisted of 4 faces: Cyborg, Evil Smirk, Weird, and LOL. It was on pretty much every tower and skin. And the lesser known fact is that on that day, they changed the name from Tower Defense Simulator to Welcome to Tower Defense Simulator, which is a funny reference to Welcome to Bloxburg. And since we're talking about name changes, a hidden fact is before Below Natural created the name for Tower Defense Simulator, the game was actually called Non-Laggy TB, which stood for Tower Battles. Now, the Gladiator was able to be seen multiple times throughout the game. Once on the map called Medieval Times, as you can see here, that he was farming. This was due to the fact that Gladiator was unusable between October to November 2019, and you'll get this error message when you try to place him. Another moment where you could catch Gladiator was on the old level 0 military base, where you can see him cruising around on the motorcycle. Before the existence of Gravedigger, there's a boss that most of you guys didn't know about, and its name was Gravekeeper. This boss had 2 abilities, one called Tombstone, where the Gravekeeper would raise its hammer in the air and creating tombstones next to it, and the second called Smash, where the Gravekeeper raises its hammer and smashes it onto the ground. We should have an event where these bosses would show up again. Like the Void, this boss is from Tower Battles and was actually in TDS at some point. This was seen in footage from early days of TDS when John ROBLOX spawned in the boss with commands. It was most likely a joke by the devs though. This thing is called the Monster, and no, it's not an enemy. It was actually a unit that was supposed to be spawned by normal players like us, supposedly to defeat the Frost Spirit. But it was never added, so we'll never know. We all know about the mecha base, but did you know about the XR901? This was the original admin tower. Its looks is very similar to mecha base, and especially the Zed from Tower Battles. This tower was added during the early days of TDS, but then was later removed from the game, most likely being replaced by the mecha base. The last one is something I know most of you guys didn't know about, but before we get there, let's hit the subscribe button. It'll be greatly appreciated. The last fact has to do with Cowboy. It doesn't seem like it, but when you look very close at its glasses, you might see something oddly suspicious. Yeah, this was before the Cowboy rework though, so those were tons of TDS secrets that you might have not known of. If you want to see 22 TDS towers that got removed, click this video. As always, everything will be okay.